that's significant about that car, I remember when Toyota started installing airbags in 1990 or 91. I remember when that car showed up at Dixie Toyota with the first airbag in it. Okay? When one airbag was a big deal, let alone now there's a dozen airbags in most cars. Okay? So I remember those days. So Dixie Toyota was a great opportunity. I walked in there. For about a year, it was a struggle. And if you're ill-prepared or not trained, and I can tell you right now, there was no automotive business institute then for me to go to and to learn and to have the opportunities that you have right now. Okay, so this is all new. This is good stuff. This is opportunities that, 20 years ago I wish I had, So to be able to have speeches, not just to learn from textbooks or to learn from professors, but for people like myself or other professionals to be able to come and talk to you and say, hey, this is how it's done, or for you to be able to ask your own questions. So I'm going to interact with you guys a bit today. We're going to do a little bit of a workshop style after I go through a few of the slides. It'll give you enough information that when we start interacting together, you'll have enough insight. You'll be able to ask your own questions and to have a chat, right? So that we can learn together. I can learn about you, like I've already have, many countries and many people. But I want to help you, okay? And that's the reason I'm here, is to give you the real goods and to talk from the highest levels, from the highest standards, okay? When you're in automotive, there's one leader. There's one leader in automotive excellence, and that's set by Lexus and Toyota. It's worldwide. Study it, read it, don't take my word for it. Okay, they set the benchmark. So, a learning ground for me at Dixie Toyota and selling a few cars. I remember making $25,000 that year. Not very much money, but 25 years ago, I survived as someone who was 18 years old. But when you go through a whole year, it's funny when the new year starts, how you can get a new fresh perspective and try to be better than you were last year. You're now a year older, you're a little bit more mature. You've negotiated enough deals, you've met enough people, you've had enough managers tell you you suck or you don't do a good job, and you learn from that. So, second year, 1990, there was a change in ownership and management, and a friend of mine said, I'm going to this other dealer named Erin Park. So Erin Park in Mississauga was like 15 minutes away. And I walked into Erin Park, Lexus Toyota, and walked into an office and came out after talking to this really nice gentleman, left with an invitation to come back. But little did I know, I was actually speaking to one of the owners. And that was one of the things that struck me after, because if you look on my Facebook or LinkedIn or wherever, you will see a year ago when I launched my book, as a matter of fact, if you look in the first page of the book, you will see how I dedicated my professional career to that owner from 26 years ago that I met. So one of the things you need to learn is there will be people that you will meet throughout your path that will be great influences. Okay, some will be bad influences, and some will be great influences, and you'll learn to make good choices on the type of company you keep, because with success in any job, whether it's automotive or you're an accountant, it's also about the people who you choose to hang out with. Okay? If they're not uplifting you, if they're not better than you, if they're not doing better than you, you need to find new friends. Okay? And I'm also speaking to you from the perspective of having kids, that are 21 and 22 years old in college and university as well. And it's the same thing I'll tell them. Okay, my oldest son, Jordan, just started working at the Toyota and Lexus plant in Cambridge. Okay, and so he's learning a few things there. But I speak from a perspective of reality. So in 1992, I went over to Erin Park, Lexus Toyota. I got a sales job there. It was a bigger dealership than Dixie Toyota. It was in a more residential neighborhood instead of more commercial area. So, and the people there were different, and there were a little bit more opportunities, and I started to learn more and meet more interesting clients and meet more interesting staff. and tried to guide my path a little bit, decided who I was going to emulate as an example. And this gentleman who, became my friend and was almost like my uncle, I mean, to this day, his kids are personal friends of mine. And like I said, I dedicated the book to him because he meant so much to me and impacted my career. So, about a year after selling there, so this is now, I'm about 21 years old, they did a management shakeup, and he pulls me in the office and he says, "Do you want to become a manager?" And my first question was, am I going to make less money? And it's a valid question, because I make more money than anybody in my dealership that I work now as a salesperson. Because if you're a good salesperson, you can make more than managers. Okay, so at the time, it was a legitimate question. I wasn't there yet making more money than managers, but it was a valid question. Okay, if sales is the best career in the world, if you're good, because you can basically write your own ticket. All right, so I took the position, and within months after that, the senior manager, I was the assistant sales manager, the senior manager who they hired from the corporate store, Toyota Canada, to come and manage that place, they basically thought he was too lazy, and I was doing all the work anyways. So they told him to leave. And I was now about 22, and at 22 years old, I was now managing one of the biggest Toyota dealerships in the country. Because I learned quickly, I attached myself to the right people who were able to guide me. I looked up to this owner, Paul is his first name. I never wanted to disappoint him. So I tried to do everything and learn everything as quickly as possible. And that's one of the keys you have to do. You have to make a commitment to learning, and a commitment to personal development and personal improvement in sales. It's not just about the tangible goods and services and money. It's about you, developing you so that your clients can appreciate you, your colleagues can appreciate you, your superiors can appreciate you, and recognize that you have talent even when you don't think you have the talent. And trust a dealership in you. And I remember the first month, sometime after that, when Aaron Park Lexus Toyota sold the first 100 cars in 1 month. And I managed that store. And in 1995, I was the National Grandmaster Sales Manager. So in all of Canada, we were an A dealer. I was one of, I think it was a handful, I forget how many dealers, but there were a couple of hundred Toyota dealers in the country at that time. But I was awarded a National Grandmaster Standard. I mean, this is a plaque that you get, and you get like a $5,000 check, and that was a lot of money back then. Okay, so I was very proud of that. So I have that with me still today. At that time, while we were at that dealership, does anyone recognize the second car? Okay. Okay. Who here can tell me anything about the history of that car? Anything? I'm sorry?
V8.
That's good. It is definitely a V8. Okay. And at the time, it was the most efficient 4-liter V8 engine. At the time, 250 horsepower, multi-valve engine, all of that stuff. It was an ultra-low emission engine at the time for an 8-cylinder, which was good. But the point I'm getting at is that vehicle completely transformed the auto industry in 1989 when it was introduced by Lexus in North America. Okay? You need to know this, read it. This is the vehicle that sent BMW, Mercedes-Benz, Jaguar, and everybody else back to the drawing board. Because all of a sudden there was this new car that was luxurious. It had all the refinements of luxury. It came from a trusted parent company like Toyota, and it started to kick everybody's butt. And the most important thing is they didn't break down. They didn't cost a whole bunch of money to maintain. They were fuel efficient, they were luxurious, they lasted forever. And it forced all the other big names to go back to the drawing board to create better products. This is a fact.
That was a 92, you said?
Okay, it was Canada got it in 1990, but we were building the store. So at the time, and this is one of the other milestones in my career. While I was there in 91, I was on the Toyota side. Lexus was introduced in Canada in 1990-91. In the United States in 89-90.